Solo hike away from work. Just outside of work is lake, big lake. Solo hike away from work. Just outside of work is lake, big lake. Somebody's been climbing down that. Yikes. I remember noticing this when I was biking, that there's so many more things you notice when you ride your bike to and from work that you don't notice when you drive there. And cool things, you know, things people are doing, how many people are outside, beer gardens, things like that. Walking, even more so. I have been walking along Lake Michigan for just a few minutes now. My walk starts out right at the parking lot where my car is at work. And all of this really awesome walking, and I'm going to put this over here so you can kind of see that, is right outside the back door of where I work. Literally, like, I just turned outside and followed the tree line and came to this. And it is amazing. All of this fantastic cliff and little trails that people are hiking up and down. There's benches here, picnic benches and regular benches. There's people out walking dogs and talking. It's a nice sunny day. The water, you can't tell this from here, but it looks really clear and blue. These are things that you just don't see. I mean, I knew the lake was over here, but I just never quite saw how pretty it was over here without walking, and I tell you, it's pretty amazing. You can't quite tell how awesome the view of the city is from here via camera, but it's pretty. It's kind of hazy. Little signs of spring on this tree. Here's something to point out. You'll notice that I'm walking on the grass, not on the pavement. Pavement sucks on your feet, but grass is cushy, slightly less stable, but it does a whole lot less damage to all the joints by the end of the day. So I find myself walking on the grass as much as possible when they don't give me dirt to walk on, which is my favorite, especially if it's a little squishy, like mud. Don't mind the mud, as long as it's not deep enough to cover my shoes. But this is lovely. Looks like I'm coming up on a hill here. Hill going down. Downs are not that good. I don't mind going up. I mean, it gets me out of breath, but it's better on my knees and on my ankles and all that good stuff. Going down is a bit more treacherous, especially once your legs get tired trying to keep your balance. The muscles that you have to use are different So it's not quite as good. But man, check this out. It's just amazing. All of this right behind my work, and I didn't even know it. Look at how crisp that water looks. I wish you could see the blueness of it all. It's almost like being in like Acapulco or something. It looks so blue from my angle because of the way the sun is hitting it. Got these giant apartment buildings along the lake shore here. And over there, they have stairs going down and a nice piece of rocky trail going along the lake shore. But they've got it all blocked off for the people who live in this ginormous mall of apartments. I wonder how many of them appreciate that they have that there. Huh. So I had too many jackets on, and I saw this lovely bench, and I decided to have a seat. And then I realized I had Girl Scout cookies. Now, you may or may not know that I'm gluten-free, so Girl Scout cookies, not a thing. But thanks to Jeannie D, who has a Girl Scout troop daughter who does sell the gluten-free cookies. What's this? Toffee-tastic. I'm able to enjoy the gluten-free cookies. Thanks, Jeannie D. I see all these runners on the trail. They all have unhappy looks on their faces. I probably have a happier look on mine. So, talk about the thankfulness of those Girl Scout cookies one more time. You get to hiking and you're amazed how hungry just walking can make you. It's kind of a thing. You know, I've heard of hiker hunger, and I'm sure that I haven't experienced anything quite like it yet. But I sure do understand about getting hungry when hiking. When I'm done, I'm like, I need a cheeseburger. I need a cheeseburger now. It's pretty crazy. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, most of the time I'm walking with people. My husband comes with me, my kids, maybe, friends. Every once in a while, I do these nice solo hikes. I like both. I really like the solo hike. Different. I get more time to think about things. More time to really notice the pain in my legs and stuff too. But more time to, get to kind of know myself a little bit better, I guess. And also, I get to stop whenever I want to and just sort of take a look at what's going on around me. Like these fantastic signs of spring. Look at this. Those are spring greens coming up. Just a couple of videos ago, meaning just a couple of days ago, there was snow where those spring greens were. Look at this. Look. That is spring flowers. I don't know what kind, but it's awesome. So the walk I'm on today, I'm specifically doing because I was looking for places to walk with my students. So what happened was I was trying to come up with ways to kind of incorporate this training for the Appalachian Trail business along with being a teacher. And we have sort of this nice advisory period, which works as kind of like a study hall, I guess, for students. It's 45 minutes to an hour long, depending on the day of the week. and students can go to the room of a teacher that they need help with. But there's also sort of club meetings that happen sometimes during that time, or, yoga, things like that. So my principal was awesome enough to allow me to do something called Healthy Choices. And just one day a week, I'm gonna take my students outside for a walk if the weather is so kind as to let us outside. And if it's pouring down rain, we're gonna do sort of a meditation thing in the classroom, sort of mindfulness, get your mind together, talking about ways to keep it together during a hefty, crazy school day. So I came out here today so that I could see where the trail goes behind the school, so I can get an idea of sort of how far I could walk with the students and still get back in time for the next class period. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I have to limit the number of students because them teenagers be crazy. But I think it's going to be a pretty neat thing, and it's going to give me a chance to, I guess, sort of spread the wealth of all the fabulous walking benefits that I'm getting, and maybe a few of the blisters too. One of the other things I'll be incorporating into this walking with students business is teaching them to pick up after all of the nasty slablings that are throwing trash all over my nature. Look at that. There's a garbage can right there. My children and I and my family, when we hike, we pick up garbage. We have garbage bags with us. We pick it up. Next time we find a spot, we get rid of it. Because people keep pooping on my nature. Or mooping on it, I guess. Matter out of place for those burners out there. Right there. Garbage. Frustrating. As it turns out, unauthorized vehicles are allowed lots of places, but not beyond this point. I want to go down there, but then I don't want to climb back up. So I think I'm not going to do that today. Anyway, keep your unauthorized vehicles in authorized places. Dangnabbit. I feel like this sewer is working backwards. It's got water coming out of it, which is then proceeding to roll down this giant hill. And I feel like that's the opposite of how sewers normally work in my world. Huh. So I just finished hiking, and then I went straight to this Stan's Fit for Your Feet shoe store, because my trekking shoes are just not cushioning enough, and so I thought, man, I'm going to need to get something cushier, something lighter. My shoes currently are Oboes, and they're made for hiking, and they're waterproof, and they're kind of heavy, but the soles are not as cushy as they could be. They were the only shoes that really fit my feet comfortably, that didn't slide around on them, just fit right away. I didn't think were going to give me blisters, and they haven't. But I just need something with more cush. So after having the pain in my feet after walking for 3 miles-ish after school, and of course I was on my feet all day too, but I went to Stan's. I tried on a couple of pairs of lighter trail running shoes. Didn't really love the feel. I did try on a couple, I think they were called DQ, something like that. I thought of Dairy Queen when I looked at them anyway. Anyway, they were good, but they weren't good enough to spend, $150 on or whatever. So I just sort of settled instead for getting a couple more pairs of Smart Wool socks, which are, needed on the trail. And then I got these guys here, which are, I've used Superfeet before, and they did pretty well for me. So I used a different brand at the time, but these say pain relief all over them. And so, well, hopefully it's truth in advertising, because it certainly sold me, because that's what I need is pain relief. So let's see how that goes. I'll keep you updated.